I attended the largest video game convention in my state. The TORG Expo, otherwise known as the Ohio Retro Gaming Expo, took place on November 11th and 12th at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus, Ohio. I attended with my brother-in-law Lucas and his cousin Brady. We had 2-day weekend passes, so here's what we did. Our weekend passes allowed us to get in on Saturday at 10 a.m. when the doors opened, but due to oversleeping and some pretty nasty traffic heading in, we didn't actually get into the building with our badges in hand until about 11. We pretty much spent the first 3 hours just wandering around and looking at all the vendors had. You'll notice that probably a lot of this early footage looks pretty weird and might repeat itself, and that's because A, this was the first time I'd literally ever used this camera, so I was trying to figure out how it worked, and B, I was pretty insecure and anxious about taking footage, especially with all these people, because I didn't really know what their filming policy was, but most people that happened to accidentally catch themselves in the camera were pretty respectful, and no one ever said anything, so I started to warm up as time went on. We spent pretty much the first 3 hours just wandering around looking at all the vendors had, and it was honestly pretty overwhelming. It was not just piles upon piles of games, but also consoles, controllers, art, posters, plushies, body pillows. I don't have any footage of that one, but trust me, they were there. I didn't really buy a whole lot here in the beginning. Lucas and Brady both did, but I mostly just kept my eye on stuff that I would want to come back to and check on later. After about 3 hours, we all realized we had gotten a bit hungry from wandering around, so we decided to stop for a quick bite at the fantastic food court. It was just so exciting. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. I don't mean any ill will toward any of the workers or anybody else that put this convention on. It was just a little frustrating. The food court was just not very exciting and a little expensive. We pretty much just wandered around and saw everything that all the vendors had to offer for the first 3 hours, and then we only had about 2 hours left until the after party. So we pretty much just killed time for the next 2 hours until it was time to go to the after party. We hung out and listened to the door prize drawings, which we forgot about so we didn't put our tickets in, and then we wandered around and saw what else the convention had to offer. There was this cosplay area, there was this area back here where you could get a video game tattoo, which I thought about getting, but my parents probably wouldn't have liked that. There was this area over here with indie developers, there was a Dr. Mario tournament going on. There was this area with a bunch of old school arcade games. There was this area with a whole bunch of consoles set up for free play. There were panelists and voice actors, and it was honestly just such a cool experience seeing all that there was. I even ran into my friend Zoe in her iconic cosplay of Celestia Ludeberg from Danganronpa, so that was pretty fun. I did end up buying a few things on this first day. I didn't barter with anyone on the first day just because A, I didn't know how open people would be to bartering on the first day, and B, the prices were small enough as they were, and I didn't feel the need to barter for something that was like $10. I'll show you what I bought on the first day later, but after we made our final purchases and did everything we wanted to do, we headed over to the after party, which was across the way in this other warehouse building. The after party was pretty empty. There was this area of real life Mario Party that I didn't get any footage of, but I watched for a minute and that was pretty fun. But the real highlight of the after party was cosplay wrestling. This is basically just a bunch of people cosplaying as different characters and basically doing literal WWE style wrestling matches of these characters. Honestly, I used to love WWE as a kid, so I have to respect the grind for these people, and I have to respect the performers for really committing to the act. Honestly, where else are you gonna see Wario and Waluigi do a tag team wrestling match against Parappa the Rapper and that guy you play as a Guitar Hero? We had our fill of cosplay wrestling, and then we headed out of the after party, got some Raising Cane's for dinner, and then headed back and chilled and played some video games to prepare ourselves for the next day. The next day we were up bright and early to get there on time, and we were joined by my brother-in-law Nate. Once we got to the convention, it was clear that it was definitely not as crowded as the first day. I mean, even just from the footage, you can see probably like 20% of the crowd from the first day was there on the second day. We only had until 4 today, so if we wanted to do anything, we had to make sure we got it done quickly. We spent the first couple hours basically wandering around to the vendors that Nate hadn't seen, allowing him to look at stuff. I grabbed a couple of things for myself, and we pretty much double tapped all the vendors that we got before just to see if anything had changed. My goal today, going into the second day, was to meet Laura Faye Smith, who was the voice of Rosalina, and I knew that if I was going to do it, I had to do it soon. So when her line was not very long, seriously I only waited like 10 minutes to meet her, I hopped in line, and I met the absolutely lovely Laura Faye Smith. She wasn't allowed to do any of the Rosalina voices or anything, which I totally understand, but she was willing to take this video for the YouTube video, and she was honestly just super nice and understanding, and it was an absolute honor to talk to her. This is probably like the coolest thing I've done since I got into games like over a decade ago, and I don't know if anything else will ever top this. So honestly, huge shout out to Laura and all the other people at the convention for making this possible and literally making a dream come true since I was like 12 years old. Again, we only had until 4 today to get everything done, so we all made our last minute purchases. We hung out in the free play area for a little bit, and then we just kind of left. We got some dinner, and then I went to a bonfire with the cast of a show that I was in recently, and didn't eat very much and drank too much Captain Morgan. But with that, let me show you what I bought at the convention. So I'm going to show you these in the order that I actually bought them in. And yeah, this camera and green screen is in my basement where there isn't very good lighting. The very first thing that I bought was this copy of Mario Kart Wii. Somebody had it for $25, which was the cheapest anybody had it all weekend, and it's priced at about $30 online, so I got that for a deal. Unfortunately, as of the point of this recording, this copy of Mario Kart Wii I have not gotten to work on either my Wii U or the other Wii I have upstairs. The disc won't read and I haven't gotten a chance to get it cleaned yet, so maybe if I clean it it'll work, but as of right now, that's unfortunately the only miss I had all weekend. Second, I snagged this copy of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the Wii U. Only priced at $10, didn't feel the need to barter on $10, but it's complete in-box and discs looks great and it booted right up and played no problem, so definitely a steal there. This game is priced at about $15 online. Finally, I snagged this copy of Mario Strikers Charged for the Wii. The same guy I bought this from had a copy for $10, but that one must have got sold before I got the chance to go back. So I snagged this copy for $15, which is complete in-box and booted right up and plays like a charm. No problem there, and this was priced at about $20 online, so I definitely got that for a steal. On the second day, I bartered a little bit more with everybody, probably because I felt more comfortable doing it. So the first thing I grabbed on the second day was this copy of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie game for the GameCube. I've heard this is really similar to Battle for Bikini Bottom, but I haven't actually played it yet, so I snagged this copy. They had it priced for $15, and I got it for $12, so that was a pretty good deal, and it's priced for about $15 online, so I'll take that as a good deal. The second thing I bought that day was a nice used copy of Metroid Dread. I bought it from somebody for the cheapest anybody had it at the convention. He had it priced at $35, and I got it for $32, and I've been playing this in my spare time recently and having a blast with this, so definitely call that a win. And people are gonna get mad at me for this one, but I bought this used copy of Katamari Damacy priced at $15 and got it for $10, and I booted that and it loads right up and plays just fine as well. So that's pretty much all I bought at the convention, and outside of food and tickets, I spent a total of about $130, so honestly, not a too bad weekend. Honestly, I had such a good time at this convention, and I definitely will go back next year. So shout out to the TORG's team for putting on the convention, and everybody who attended and all the vendors and everything for just being awesome and putting on such a cool event. If you've never been to one of these conventions before, then I highly, highly recommend that you go, just because you never know what you might find or what kind of gems you'll experience or who you might meet or anything like that. If you're ever unsure about these conventions, then my only advice is to just go. Maybe you won't enjoy it, and if you don't, then that's fine. That just means conventions aren't for you. But if you love video games and pop culture as much as I do, then I'm sure you'll find something to enjoy out of these conventions. Whether it's standing in a giant crowd waiting for door prizes, or meeting a voice actress, or even just looking in to see what all kinds of rare things people have. These conventions are just super fun, and I'm just really glad that I got the chance to go to this one, and will definitely be returning next year. But anyway, those are my 2 days at the TORG Expo. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you all for watching. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. This is unscripted. That entire thing was basically just me rambling for 5 or 6 minutes. That was completely unscripted, and this is also unscripted. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos like this in the future. I've got a lot of cool plans coming up. You'll see a video in December kind of talking about everything, but 2024 is going to look a lot different than 2023 on the channel, just to kind of give you a heads up on things. But for now, this is what we got. I got a lot of cool videos coming up in the future, so stick around for those. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. And yeah, I had a really good time at the convention, and I hope to see some of you at a convention, or convince you to go to a convention, something like that. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.